Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a new type of series I was thinking of for quite a while. Basically, the premise is we're going to do a pacifist, no combat series where we go around and trade on the open market, just like one of the trader NPCs you see going around. The end goal is to have one or two colonies and 10 million in the bank using only the open market and contacts. The contacts are a new system introduced in the new version of Starsector, whereas instead of open contracts that you just fly by and see, you now have to develop up to 5 contacts at the military, trade, or what have you that give you periodic jobs when you go to the star. In this case, since I'm going to be doing a trading one, I'm going to try and get 5 trading contacts and use them to make a lot of money. Obviously, this is a challenge run mixed in with just kind of like a calm pacifist run where we just talk about things as we go. For those of you who are new to Starsector, you might not realize this, but veterans will realize that in certain junctures of this in certain junctures of this playthrough, I will be turning off my transponder and trading with things like pirate stations, looted path, because there's no way to have your transporter on and actually trade with them unless you have a really high opinion with them, which is almost next to impossible unless you just focus contacts with them and constantly do jobs for them. However, most of those jobs are military based and not trade, and since we're doing a pacifist run, we won't be doing things like raiding starports or bombing places or trying to get people out of jail or things like that, which are some of the new missions you can do. So I will be forced to turn off my transponder for those, but I will still be keeping in the spirit of the rules by doing things like trading on the open market, even if it's a pirate or looted path place, which means I'll have to suffer the penalties of tariffs both on buying and selling goods. I will still be able to trade things like illegal drugs, heavy machinery, illegal drugs, heavy weapons, things like that I can trade, because even in certain factions, they will allow the selling of these heavy weapons on the open market, whereas others, obviously like Hegemony, unless you're friends with them, will never sell you heavy weapons. So it's still possible to do this. Now then, we're gonna go into the first part here. Gonna make a new game. We're just gonna name ourselves Courier. That's what we'll mostly be doing, buying and selling goods and moving goods around for people who don't really want to do it for themselves. We're going to be a scavenger, mainly a scavenger because you get a wayfarer, which is has a decent amount of cargo, and it's a small ship, so the costs for your fuel, your supplies, etc. is very little. I'm not going to go explorer or mercenary for obvious reasons, considering if you go explorer, you get a cruiser, but cruisers are very hard to escape from really bad matchups. And consider we'll be trading a lot in the open sectors, we will have to be able to run away from any conflicts, because even the weakest pirates have a good chance of defeating you unless you really set up a good fleet. But there's no way we'll be able to afford a good fleet anyways in our pacifist run, even if we wanted to fight combat, because tariffs are going to take a lot of our profits away. So we're going to go scavenger. After that, we're going to go shepherd class because you get heavy machinery for free. we're not going to use it, but it's kind of nice. And the Shepherd class itself is a really good cargo ship, which is very good early game if you're going to trade. Kite is really only good if you are actually going to fight people, but we're not going to be doing that, so we're going to go Shepherd class. We're going to go normal mode, because, well, it's a challenge run. If you go easy, what's the point of a challenge? And we're going to skip the tutorial, since we already know how to play. In this case, we're going to go industry, and the first one will be our cargo, for obvious reasons. We want to have as much cargo as we can at the start, so we can do some decent missions and do some flipping of goods. Alright, if you did the tutorial, you would become friendly with Hegemony, since you opened up the routes to hyperspace. So we kind of already start friendly with them, and they're a decent faction to be friends with. And first we're gonna go to our inventory and look at what we oh my god, this is amazing start already. If you don't know, efficiency overhaul, let me read out the description here. It's a collection of notes, guidelines, and practical examples that enable one to adapt and apply this modification to various hulls. It reduces supply use for maintenance, fuel use, and minimum crew required by 20%. It does have a debuff of increasing combat readiness recovery and repair rates, but that doesn't matter because the huge amount of goods that you save by having this on every single ship, especially if you don't get into fights, means that you get more profit in the long run. And we're gonna have to have this immediately so that we have way less upkeep for all of our ships. We're gonna go to our fleet by pressing F. We're gonna go buy and see if we can find another ship to help us out. Thankfully, we were really lucky this time with our RNG here. We can buy ourselves a Hound. It's pretty pricey, but it's really worth it in the long run. We already have enough crew for this, so that's all we're going to be able to afford at the start. But I got a really lucky run. A Hound and efficiency overhaul at the start is amazing. Now we're going to want to unequip a lot of this, so let's remove all of this. Remove the flux. We're going to want to add unstable injectors, safety overrides, efficiency overhaul, reinforced bulkheads, and expanded cargo holds. Anything else after that is a bonus. So I'll just add some blast doors, and I guess use it the rest on this because we don't really have any other mods we can put on. We'll do the same here really quickly. Militarized subsystems, safety overrides, efficiency overhaul. Just weapon groups, obviously auto assign. As you can see, this is rugged construction as well. This is why it's so good. Reduces most negative effects of demods by 50%. If disabled, destroyed in combat, which we aren't going to really get into, the ship has a 50% chance to avoid new demods and is almost always recoverable after the battle. This is very, very good in early game, especially the fact that it lowers the demod stuff, which means that I don't have to pay it as much. For example, this is a faulty grid, which means flux capacity, which doesn't matter to us, and compromised armor, which kind of doesn't matter. But if we had something like increased maintenance on this ship, it'd be even worse. But because of rugged construction, that negative side effects is reduced even more, which is reduced even more because we add the efficiency mod to this. I'm gonna go with safety unstable efficiency overhaul. Alright, expanded cargo holds and reinforced bulkheads and blast doors. There we go, and put as much power as we can. Alright, so you want, some of you who are new to Starsector and watching this might wonder why I'm doing things like this, which is very simple. I had a tutorial about this somewhere on my channel, but the best way to do a trader run is to never fight at all, because if you are fast enough and small enough, you aren't picked up on sensors as much. You also can run away from other ships because they won't ever want to fight you, and even if they do fight you, with safety overrides and unstable injector, you'll most likely be faster than they ever can be. The only people who can hope to catch up to you are people like the Ludic Path or crazy pirates that put safety overrides on their ships as well, because Ludic Path have safety overrides in general on almost every single one of their ships. But even then, they'd have to catch up to you on top of the unstable injector, and most of them just decide to hassle you, which only costs a small supply cost because of the fact that you're running such a tight outfit of ships that have very low need for supplies in general. So it's really not a problem, whereas you can still run a lot of goods which you can sell for much more profit than the goods you have to constantly pay in monthly fees. So now that we have our first setup, I'm going to repair the ship and see if we can find ourselves a contract. So we take our shuttle down to visit the dockyard bar, and we find out that the only thing that we can get from this bar is a military officer wearing the insignia of a general. Problem with these, and I'll show you, is he's selling a ship, but not only do we not have the money to pay for this ship, the big problem is that even if I could buy this ship is very slow. If we ever get hassled by pirates that we can't see coming, we're gonna be in a world of hurts. We're gonna die. So we're gonna decline this, and we're gonna just check out some of the goods that they sell here and see if we can turn a profit. If you press F1 for more info, you can see are the best places to buy and the best places to sell your goods. We're gonna really need to hammer down in this, especially early game, because we're gonna be buying things which not only incur a tariff on the open market, but also the more things you buy from a place and the less stock they have, and the more expensive their stuff is. So we're gonna have to use this menu extensively to gain a profit. Speaking of which, I'm gonna sell all this because I don't need it, just for the little extra profit. We're gonna go to Chizomastic Hegemony to get ourselves a lot of supplies. And the easiest thing to sell this early, and we're already near one of the systems, so why not? While we're doing that, actually, no, I'm not gonna risk it. Not only is it a little too risky, actually I can go to the Independents to see if they have a job for me. But usually you don't want to go to pirate stations, especially small ones, for jobs, because they're just a little too crappy, I guess you could say. See here, you pretend to read the menu as the man puts the jack down, explains that he saw your fleet come in. You look like someone who might find a use for the latest Persian League facility security codes, he says with a wink. Alright, well, this is an issue because, again, we are a trade run, so we're not going to be robbing anybody. We don't need these codes, so we're going to immediately decline. So unfortunately, we haven't gotten lucky on the start Sometimes when you start a new game, Jingala has a person who's willing to give you a ferry contract. Basically, you take in goods and you go to another system and you drop off those goods, and it's a good way to get your money initially. Unfortunately, we don't have that, so we're going to have to depend on ourselves to make money, which means we're going to go all the way to Chizumaki and buy a bunch of supplies, which we can then sell to another area. Now, some people would say this challenge run is very, very difficult because, as you can see, let me just show you. If you can see here, I have to pay a 30% tariff on goods. Now, this might seem like a really bad thing, but the problem with using the black market is one of two ways of doing black market sales. You either come up to the station with your transporter on and you buy goods, which causes suspicion, and if you want to make profit, you're going to buy a lot of things from black market, which means you'll be so suspicious that random people will automatically stop you constantly and search you for contraband. Even if you don't have any, you'll lose reputation with people you trade with. So it gets to a point where it gets really annoying. You constantly get stopped, and if you ever have contraband on you, you lose the contraband and you lose reputation as well, because unless you're willing to fight them off, you're gonna have to let them search your cargo. There's ways to mitigate this. It's a really annoying hassle, and since we're pacifists, we're going to be avoiding that entire part of the game. So that's kind of nice. It's just going to be a calm, relaxing sell fest where we just go around and sell as much as we can for as much profit as we can through bulk buys of excess stockpiles and bulk selling of excess sales where people really need stuff. For example, if we go here, there's excess stockpile of 750, which means they sell for really low. And Chalcedon Ludic Path in the Kumara Kingdom system has a distance of 9, and it has a huge deficit of 2,250. So they're going to really want these supplies, and they're willing to pay top dollar. And we can sell enough where the price doesn't go down really much. So we'll be making a profit even if we have to pay tariffs. And hopefully while we're going around and doing this, we can find ourselves a decent contact who will give us jobs. So that will make us get enough money to get a colony going. Well, I can already feel like neither of these are trade. We're just going to go through these just to check it out. You catch the attention of the woman so angered by pirate activity, a notable figure in the inter-system commerce, a simple citizen, she explains, who is disappointed by the lack of decisive action. It makes one think these patrols are more interested in tariff enforcement than fighting pirates. Well, I can already feel where this is going. You're a starship captain, yes? I'll tell you what we've been thinking. Along with a few concerned associates, I'll put together a fund for oh my, no. Unfortunately, again, we can't take this contract either, because it means that we have to go and fight people, and we're not going to do that. We're just the trade league. We're just a bunch of traders going around peacefully selling goods. We're going to decline this. The Pathers, obviously, this is another bad one for us, because this will reveal a Pather League starship, which we can go take down if we want to, for XP or for salvage or whatever we want to do. We're not going to do that because, again, we're a trader company. I mean, we could take it just to find another place to buy stuff from, but it's not worth going all the way to a Pather base when we could just go into civilized space and trade there. So we're going to ignore all these. We're just going to do what we came here to do, which is to buy a bunch of supplies, as much as we possibly can get, and go sell it. So we're going to go to Chalcedon, which is in the Kumara Kingdom system. you. Kamara Candom. I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna go Chalcedon, chart a course there. Now see, because we didn't go through the black market route, none of them really care about us, and if we buy enough goods from them, we'll even get reputation with them. It's not much, but if you do this enough, after long periods of time, you'll be able to even access their specialized markets. Like the Hegemony have their military markets, which allow you to buy certain things from them, such as ships that you normally can't buy unless you go out there and make a colony and find the blueprints, which is a hassle in of itself. Sometimes you just want to, do your thing and maybe be a bounty hunter or kill the Hegemony's enemies and have better ships to do that with. So if you want to do that, you can, but we want to have the good reputation for other reasons. Oh, that was my bad. I entered the system with my transponder on near Ludic paths. That's not a really good idea, to be honest. They like to kill people, or if they don't kill people, they want to basically take a tithe out of you, which we can't pay right now because we are poor. But as you can see, we're gonna sell this 100 or so, 150 maybe. Yeah, we can afford this. As you can see, there's a lot of tariffs, but even with the tariffs, because they need these supplies so badly, we're still going to make around 5,000, 7,000 in profit, which might not seem like much, but it will be a lot as we go along and buy more ships and slowly but surely make more money. Well, this is the first part of the series. As we go on, we'll be able to get more ships, and I'll be able to start at the goal of trying to make a colony using this type of gameplay. Thank you for watching.